Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a magnetic excursion update Saturday, August 31st, 7:45 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. Salsa's Last Dance. On September 8th of this year, a satellite named Salsa will re-enter the atmosphere and burn up if all goes to plan. A spicy re-entry at the minimum. And we also have confirmation that a major hurricane may enter the Gulf in just about a week. Keep calm. It's boom time. Well, amazingly enough, the turquoise waters of Havasu Falls returned just a week after damaging and deadly flash floods, taking the life of one woman. Albeit the entire area is still caked in flooding muds. You can see this. But the falls have returned to their normal, pristine state, as is the case always. It's simply the way Mother Nature works. We can see the flooding damage here on the shoreline, but the beautiful blue waters continue to spill over the spillway. Labor Day weekend kicks off with severe weather threat across the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Scattered thunderstorms, some reaching severe levels, will develop along a line through western New York, Pennsylvania, and into West Virginia today, moving through the region from west to east as the afternoon progresses into evening. Full forecast coming up in a moment. As we are looking at several tropical disturbances in the Atlantic, was three, one of them dropped off. We now just have tropical disturbance 1 and 2. One is going to wreak havoc with some rain and move up through the entire southeast, as disturbance 2 is honing in on tracking right through the Lesser Antilles, Cuba, the Dominican, and up into the central portion of the Gulf, where the water is extremely hot. And if this storm holds together, will intensify into a major hurricane, as we can see here on the model. And then that hurricane is going to be moving up and wreaking havoc with flooding rains for a huge swath of the east if these models hold up. So we're keeping a close eye on the storm as things develop for you. Strong thunderstorms and heavy rainfall across the eastern U.S. Hot temperatures in the northwest U.S. Isolated strong to severe thunderstorms capable of producing damaging winds. Heavy rainfall will be possible from southern New England into the southern Appalachians, currently happening right now. Additional heavy rainfall may also be possible along the Gulf Coast. In the northwest, high temperatures are forecast to climb into the 90s, near 100 degrees, and heat advisories have been issued. I'm literally getting eaten up by mosquitoes. Let's take a look at the forecast. You can see a line of small breakout thunderstorms throughout the central eastern U.S. here. Southern Ohio down through Mississippi and Alabama there, including the southern tip of Illinois and Indiana. And it looks like in the next 3 or 6 hours, those storms are going to break up. Although pop up again in the morning here on Sunday in the afternoon there, we can see some activity in the Virginias as that moves offshore by the end of the weekend. By Monday, should be all quiet in the Northeast and most of the East. Move the pattern through and we can see that potential tropical disturbance coming up as a major hurricane. This could be Cat 3 or 4, maybe even bigger at 939 millibars. That is quite the low pressure system. Still 10 days out on this, and we've got a lot more models to look at. I would say in 5 days or now, we're going to be right on the bullseye, but we're showing you all the models because one of these is going to be correct. Quick seismic update. We've got some activity all the way up in the Arctic Circle here, 4.4 in the Greenland Sea. Overall, we did have some moderate activity, 5 magnitude in Chile today. Some low-level activity in Indonesia at 5 magnitude, all normal across the U.S. and the world wide. Interesting rumbler here in the middle of nowhere in Russia, 4.1. New research reveals that the Petrinja earthquake shifted the ground 15 inches. The December 2020 Petrinja earthquake in Croatia caused significant displacements, with research revealing up to 40 centimeters of horizontal and 20 centimeters of vertical movement. These findings suggest tectonic shifts in the region occur mainly through individual earthquakes rather than gradual motion as plate tectonics suggests. So that's interesting. The earthquake that struck near the Croatian town of Petrinja in December 2020 with a magnitude 6.4 was felt across Croatia, and many neighboring countries caused significant damage in the area and moved the earth, 40 centimeters, 15.7 inches in some places, with a maximum of 20 centimeters in the vertical direction. So that is what happens when the earth quakes. Worldwide volcano news for the 31st of August. Sungay, 21,000 foot today. Liwatobi, puffing and passing. No flight level there. Reventador, 14,000 foot. Ducono to 8. Fuego, puffing as well. White Island, continuous low-level eruptions today. Sabancaya, 23,000 foot puff. Merapi on the list. 11,000 foot puff there. Liwatobi to 9. Reventador, 14,000 foot. Sabancaya to 22. Who knew? Now you do. Semaru, eruption to flight level 15. 150, that's 15,000 foot puff. Ibu to 8, 8,000 foot there. Liwatobi to 9,000 foot. Fuego to 15,000 foot. White Island continues to puff and pass. Semaru, 15,000 foot puff today. Swanosima on the list, 6,000 foot puff. Sungay to 22,000 foot. Ibu to 8. Reventador to 14,000 foot. Sabancay to 22,000 foot. Nevado de Ruiz, 21,000 foot puff today. Svartvengi, the eruption is continuing with new assessment on the hazard map. So go check that out. Ducono as well, 8,000 foot puff. White Island continues to puff and pass. Swanosima erupting to 6,000 foot. Wrapping up worldwide volcano news for the day and the month of August. Welcome to September, folks. A September to remember. Space weather news. Nothing is happening at Solar Max. Low-level activity, tiny M flares. We do have some sunspots that are turning around the limb that could bring some activity to the sun, but the sun is a bum. Nothing happening there. 3-day geomagnetic forecast is all quiet. We did pop back up into KP4 9 hours ago. This is care to the beautiful BZ staying and shifting south again in a major way here about 9 hours ago. And whenever the BZ shifts south in this magnetic excursion, we get geomagnetic storm. No CME needed. And that is only going to increase as the years move forward. How do you like them apples? Now let's talk about the satellite that's about to re-enter in just 8 days. On September 8th, 2024, a satellite named Salsa will re-enter the atmosphere and burn up safely over a hand-picked region of the South Pacific if all goes well. Well, what could go wrong? Thank God this wasn't built by Boeing. So on September 8th, 2024, a satellite named Salsa will re-enter the atmosphere and burn up. What makes this re-entry different is that its operators have carefully guided it down from 81,250 miles to burn up safely over a hand-picked region in the South Pacific. That is if all things go to plan. Salsa will be the second satellite to meet its end in a planned and maneuvered guided reentry, following the reentry of ESA's Aeolus weather satellite last year. Such reentries could help satellite operators prevent debris from either floating in orbit or falling to Earth over unexpected and potentially populated areas, causing a catastrophe. So hopefully all things go as planned on the 8th, and we don't see, a man-made cosmic catastrophe for the first time. NASA cuts 2 astronauts from SpaceX Crew 9. This mission was planned for years, but apparently 2 of the astronauts have been canned in an effort to save 2 of Boeing's Starliner astronauts, which are currently stuck up at the space station. They're stuck there all the way till 2025. That's insane. Now, will Elon Musk be the savior? Well, it was NASA's decision, not Musk's, to make the move. But I'm sure Musk is okay with saving the astronauts. What say you? Leave a comment below. Now, this is an interesting breakthrough. A donut-shaped region has been found inside Earth's core, and it deepens our understanding of the planet's magnetic field, and it's pointing towards a toroidal structure, equatorial, around the outer core. This would be indicative of a plasmoid structure in the center of the Earth, which has been proven in many physical experiments and now being revealed through these studies. And so you can see here the circular structure at the core. Let me blow this up right here, which is actually toroidal. So it forms a donut equatorially here around the outer core. This could be due to plasmoid activity at our core. Absolutely fascinating. All the links will be below. Here is the paper, Seismic Low Velocity Equatorial Torus in Earth's Outer Core. What could it mean? Well, it probably means that electric universe or plasma universe is correct. The standard model is garbage, and we're just taking baby steps in the infancy of cosmology. Now, Stone Age builders had engineering savvy, according to a new paper. The study finds 6,000-year-old monuments required knowledge of geology, physics, and engineering. Are you kidding me? That was a study? How in the world would ancient people be able to erect these dolmens with 10 and 20-ton blocks without knowledge of physics and engineering or geology? What, did they just accidentally make this structure? A bunch of dumb people going, "Arr!" And then this was here? I can't believe that someone got funded to make this study, which proves that people had to be smart to build this structure. Absolutely mind-boggling. A waste of energy and money, and it shows us absolutely nothing. The conclusion was so general. We conclude that the builders of these structures 6,000 years ago must have known how to move rocks and stack them in a particular way to make it not collapse. This is the state of science. Can you believe the sharticles? Absolute retardation. Which is a word that's allowed now, by the way. Here's a nightmare. This is what's happening all across the U.S. and maybe the entire world. Farmers are using reprocessed human waste on their fields. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. These farmers have to be brain dead to be buying this type of fertilizer. The fertilizers in question come from toxic waste facilities where human waste is being processed into a fertilizer. The only problem with that is in the fertilizer, we've got dozens of different pharmaceuticals, forever chemicals, and toxic waste. That's what's in that's what's in your poop. All of the poisonous chemicals in our food that pass through our bodies get concentrated in this fertilizer, and then it gets sold to stupid farmers that buy it. Absolutely disgusting. We knew 30 years ago that this type of mulch that they were providing people to put around their bushes was also toxic. But now they're giving it to farmers to use on food. Absolutely disgusting. The amount of PFAS and other toxic chemicals in this so-called fertilizer is unregulated, and no one could give a shit because they're making millions and billions of dollars selling this poison to farmers, which is making our food toxic. Not only that, it runs off into the ponds and streams and kills cows that drink the water. This is the state of the world we live in. You should be embarrassed to be here. I am. When the entire world government and the globalists are focusing on carbon dioxide, which is plant food, as a pollutant that we need to control, they are dumping billions of tons of toxic waste in our lakes, streams, and waterways. Our aquifers are being toxified with deep well fracking injection, and no one cares about that. That's all okay. The actual pollution is fine. Plant food, holy crap, I better spray all of the ancient paintings and destroy everything because plant food is going to kill us all. Absolute retard world. We live in idiocracy, and it's only accelerating into retard world. You know how to avoid that? Opt out of the retard world. Opt out of this poisonous globalist shithole that is what everyone is living in. They can't afford anything. Soon you will own nothing and eat the bugs, which are probably processed with toxic chemicals as well. Or you could just move into nature or join a commune, become a wolfer, and learn how to grow organic, nutrient-dense food. And the first step in that is acquiring seeds through our affiliate, the Alliance of Native Seed Keepers, which, by the way, are opening their first physical store in Coleraine, North Carolina. They're remodeling it right now. We're going to have some interviews with the owners. And this business is employee-owned, Native American-owned, and is supplying the world with the cheapest seeds on the internet. $2 per pack, open pollinated, no GMOs here, all good stuff. Heirlooms that you can seed save on your own, creating your own land race and food security. Plus there's flowers, which is always a good thing. Join us in just a few minutes over at Magnetic Reversal News for an amazing expose Lee and I covered earlier today. Submarine canyons, late phase solar threat, and a full expose on unprecedented Gulf of Mexico hurricanes, which have nothing to do with a warming world. They happened during the Dalton and Maunder minimum. Everything is opposite, including, well, Boeing and the stranded Starliner instructions. Let's take a look at this just for a little levity before we leave you. Pass the time. Here are stranded Starliner instructions. Pass the time by assisting other stranded Boeing passengers with rescheduling their flights. Or how about this? Reboot the capsule with Boeing 737 MAX software to initiate a rapid descent to Earth. Perhaps earn a ride on SpaceX by subscribing to Elon Musk's X Premium and liking 5 of Elon's jokes. Maybe that'll get her back to Earth. Perhaps they could create a makeshift Taylor Swift costume to increase public interest in the stranded astronauts. But the easiest way to get these stranded astronauts home is to become a majority shareholder in Boeing and force out the executives whose cost-cutting stranded them up there in the first place. And that's a boon to knowledge. Please share the video, become a Patreon, support the work we do, and watch all of our podcasts in one place commercial free. We're already demonetized. All of this was a waste of time for zero money. So if you could potentially make a small donation over at Magnetic Reversal News, it would greatly help the channel. Be safe. We love you. And that is a boon.